Hello. As the title says, I work at a 24/7 movie theater. Recently, a strange turn of events has me reconsidering my current occupation. You see, I work during the graveyard shift from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Now, other than this theater being open 24/7, everything is the same. However, there are rules to the overnight shift we have to abide by. I can remember the first night on the job when my boss, Tiaman, showed me the ropes, reminding me that there are steps to cleaning and shutting down the bathrooms and how to clean the screening rooms in between movies. He took me to his office to show me a set of rules that we must go follow. Okay, Andre, we have a set of rules you must always follow, and if not followed, will be cause for termination, Tiaman said sternly. I will have zero issues following. I spoke with extreme enthusiasm. Well, looks like you want to work. Okay, let's go over them then, he spoke in a happier tone. 1. When it becomes 0300, you must close down all the bathrooms until 0400. 2. When cleaning out the theater, the light has to be on and you must finish before the screen turns black. 3. If a man without a face walks in, you are not to speak to him for any reason. 4. All of the staff must enter the lobby at 0300 and stay there until 0400. 5. If you see someone talking to a man without a face, do not attempt to stop them and look away. 6. Do not attempt to film or record anything that goes on here. Now that we've gone through all the rules, is there anything you need from me? He said nonchalantly. No, I'm good, I spoke, swallowing my nerves. He smiled at me and escorted me out of the office, then left the theater. I instantly got to work cleaning the front room, while a person named Cynthia taught me the ropes. She was a very nice girl and had been there for years. Hey, it's almost 3 a.m. and we need to close the bathroom and then head to the lobby. Let me show you how. She seemed a little nervous as she said this. I followed closely behind as we walked towards the bathrooms. The only strange things is how the bathrooms have deadbolts that are kind of hidden on the outside. Okay, first we knock 3 times and then crack the door and ask if anyone's in there. She takes a deep breath and knocks 3 times. Custodians, anyone there? We need to clean the bathroom at this time. She listened closely and heard someone say, Yes, I'm almost done. A woman's voice can be heard in the background. Well, okay, thank you. She looked hurried and looked down at her watch, seeing that the time was clicking closer to 3 a.m. At the time, it was 2:57, and I could see Cynthia getting more and more on edge as the time gets closer. Shit. It's 1 minute until 3 a.m., and she hasn't flushed. We need to lock the door, now. Right when she reaches for the hidden deadbolt, the woman came out and says sorry, then walks down the theater to the right. Cynthia quickly locks the door, and then breaks out with a sigh of relief. Thank God she got out of there. It was then we heard a scream in the bathroom. Another woman was in there still. Yo, we gotta help her, I shouted as I reached for the deadbolt, but I was abruptly stopped by Cynthia, who grabbed my hand and pushed me away. Hey, what the hell are you? I exclaimed until I was cut off. Listen to me now and listen carefully. We cannot open this door. If we do, you and I will die. Now we gotta get back to the lobby, she said with fear in her eyes and pushing me into the lobby. In the background, I could still hear the woman screaming as if she was being killed. I can hear the screams even in the lobby when it became 3:30, and the screaming stopped with the sound of tearing flesh and breaking bones. For the first time, I felt primal fear. The idea that someone was being torn to shreds made me feel like I didn't want to be here anymore. I slowly started walking towards the doors when it walked in. Standing in front of me was a man about 8 feet tall, wearing a suit and a bowler hat. He had no face, no eyes, ears, mouth, or even nose. He looked at me, and then looked at the front desk, and continued walking. He briefly stopped at the front desk and placed 5 human fingers made of gold on the counter. He waited for the cashier to hand him what looked like a movie ticket made of pure light. He walked down the hall, past a customer who didn't seem to notice him. I decided to look around the corner and follow him with my eyes. He stopped in front of a picture on the wall and walked right through it. I can hear everyone taking a deep breath. Cynthia pulled me to the side to speak with me. Okay, so I need you to keep a promise. You and I are going to clean the bathroom, but you cannot say a word about this to anyone or anything. What you see here stays here. Got it? She looked at me with a fierce determination. Yeah, I promise. Of course, that was a damn lie. She and I got to the bathroom, and she took a deep breath before shakingly opening the door. As the door swung open, the smell hit me like a ton of bricks. The smell of rusty iron filled the air, and I could taste blood as it pooled in the back of my throat. I was gagging before Cynthia handed me a filter mask, which seemed to solve the problem. We went inside with a pair of buckets and mops. The horror I saw was nigh unspeakable. Blood and viscera covered the walls, and bits and pieces of flesh were hanging from the ceiling. The blood on the floor was draining into the drain on the floor. I held back my vomit as we mopped up the remains of this person. This took almost 2 hours. Cynthia tried telling me jokes to break the ice and to get my mind off the fact that I was cleaning someone off the floor. I don't remember much during it, as I was disassociating hard, maybe to distance myself from the messed up situation. We were about done when something walked out of the stall. A tall woman with white eyes and an unnaturally large smile. She looked at me and Cynthia while smiling. I could see blood in her mouth, and her teeth were very sharp looking. She bent down towards me slowly, and I could hear her bones creaking and popping in and out of place. This woman, this thing, spoke to me. "Oh, honey, I'm sorry for all of this mess. I hope you have a wonderful night now." She laughed a little. As she was walking out, she had to crouch low to clear the doorway. I never saw her after this. Cynthia looked at me in shock, and I could see the sweat bead down her forehead. You are so lucky she didn't kill you," she blurted out in relief. What? What do you mean?" I blurted out in surprise. "She is one of the regulars, a set of beings who never speak to us and are extremely dangerous. Only people who they speak to or who speak to them, they kill and devour on the spot. The reason we lock the doors is to keep anyone from speaking to her, as she always appears here at 3 a.m. For some reason, she didn't want to eat you." I was in shock, and I couldn't speak. I almost died? Why was I ignored? These things rang through my head as I lost track of time, and before I knew it, Cynthia was snapping at my face. "Hey, newbie, you there?" She sounded upset. Yeah. What happened?" I asked. "Not much. You decided to black out, but I got the rest cleaned up. I understand that this job pays well, but there's some messed up shit that goes on down here." She laughed a little as she wrung out the mop, and a flood of crimson liquid poured into the bucket. Cynthia and I started to walk down to the first theater on the left and waited for the customers to leave. They were watching the new Marvel movie, and I could hear the ending credits roll. Surprisingly, no one stayed for the inevitable end credit scene, but I wasn't going to question it. We walked in, and we tried to clean up as fast as possible. It was almost 5 minutes when the screen went black, and we could hear the film slowly shutting off. The sound of the lights shutting off, one by one, echoed through the theater. "Run! Get out!" Cynthia screamed in fear and sprinted past me. I didn't question, and I just ran. All of a sudden, she tripped and started to cry and scream, No, I don't want to die." It was then I saw a tall, pale humanoid being crawl out of the screen. This figure bolted towards Cynthia, knocking me down in the process. I could see this thing crawling over to her body. It quickly covered her mouth with some of its flesh, I saw it slowly start to meld with Cynthia. It pressed its body against Cynthia slowly, absorbing her. The pain and fear in her eyes showed how much she was terrified. I couldn't move. It was as if my flight or fight response was completely broken, and my body was unsure what to do. All of Cynthia was inside of this thing. It then twitched its head towards me and slowly started moving. It stopped in front of me, staring into my eyes. It felt like a century passed while we locked eyes. It then looked towards the film screen and started to crawl back into it as the lights began to flicker on. It was only a few minutes later when I hear customers mindlessly shamble into the theater. It was only 30 minutes before I could clock out. I decided to go to the bathroom and sit on the toilet to take a breath. I didn't know how to process these things, and soon I heard my phone buzzing at the time. It was finally 7 a.m. Time to leave. I ran to go clock out. I had never been so relieved to go home, and before I could leave the front door, Tiamin walked in and stopped me. How was your first night? Where's Cynthia? He asked. She's gone. She was attacked by the thing in the movie screen. Looking back, this is all I could say. This was a nightmare, but oddly enough, he looked at me seriously and said, that's not good. So you were able to make it out, huh? Not really. I fell, and the thing just stared at me after, absorbing Cynthia. I said while trying to hold back my feelings. You survived? Interesting. Well, hey kiddo, what if I told you I'm going to promote you and triple your wage if you stay working here? I'll do it starting tomorrow. He spoke with confidence and grandiose. Let me sleep on it. Is that okay? I need to get home and sleep, I said shakingly. Of course. Sleep it off and come back. We will be eagerly waiting. He waved me off and started to walk towards his office. I got home and immediately vomited. I had never been so terrified in my life. The money is going to be amazing, but I don't want to die. It doesn't seem like I would. Tell me, have you ever seen the devil? I feel like last night I have. Anyways, stay safe out there, people. You never know who's lurking in the shadows. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey everyone, thanks for watching tonight's video. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one in the future. Do you have a scary story you want narrated on the channel? Send me an email at mrcrip2000@gmail.com. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Good night.